I am really disappointed that we didn't get Eminem making a remaster of his Venom song for this movie. Metroid is one of those series that I always wanted to play when I was little, but I didn't really have access to it, quote unquote. I had a DS, but I didn't really have any other games aside from like three that I don't even remember the name of. So when the initial Metroid Dread announcement came on, I was kind of excited because maybe this would be my chance to finally play it. But at the same time, I also forgot that the game was coming out. And it wasn't until the day of release a few days ago that I actually decided I wanted to go get it. And so that's what I did. I picked it up on a whim and was hoping that I would love it, because if not, that was $60 I just threw away at a game I wasn't even sure I wanted to play at all. And thankfully, Metroid Dread is probably my favorite Switch exclusive game so far. It's fighting for first place with Link's Awakening, but because of recency, I'm just going to say that it's Metroid Dread until I actually go and play Link's Awakening again. And the only main reason I would put it at number 2 is because this game pissed me off beyond belief. Like, don't get me wrong, I've gotten angry playing games before, but I think this really just hit me in that sweet spot where I was thoroughly frustrated for a big chunk of it. And that's what makes reviewing the game kind of hard, because I get that it's meant to be frustrating, and so gauging what's fair frustrating and what's unfair frustrating is a little subjective, and so there's no real right way to go about it, especially considering that I haven't played the other games before. Off rip though, the game itself is just fun to explore, which I'm assuming is the point of Metroid games. Every area gives me that vibe where I just want to enter every single nook and cranny that's in there, and then I'm just shooting rockets at the wall. It was a really fun time. Occasionally I did get stuck in places, and I think I only really needed a guide like twice or 3 times, I think max, to get through some areas that just got me stuck. Overall though, exploration wise, there aren't too many times where you're just absolutely stuck or where the game just makes you feel like an idiot because you didn't shoot the perfect corner to get a rocket block out. It does take some intuition and elbow grease to get out of those areas that will really get you stuck. But the game also makes it pretty clear you're not supposed to be in a certain area when you see stuff you can't open because you don't have those abilities yet. And that'll make it click in your head like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here, let me backtrack and look for wherever the fuck I'm gonna go. And that's one of the stronger points of this game, considering you're supposed to be exploring these areas and really getting immersed into what's going on around you. Whenever you do hit those roadblocks, as long as you look at the map, take the time to look at your abilities, and sometimes the game will even be extremely blunt and just hit you over the head with it by giving you a new ability and then giving you a roadblock which lets you know you have to go back. I didn't do that those first few times I got stuck, and that's why I did get stuck, and I realized that I'm playing the game like an idiot, and I just changed the way I was going about things, and it got pretty much easier after that. The combat and movement felt pretty crisp. There's not really any complaints I have about it. There were never any points where I got annoyed that the controls were being trash or anything, or any times where I felt too slippery when I was moving. My only complaint would be that sometimes the jump didn't register properly. I don't know if it's my Joy-Cons or if that's just how the game is right now. But sometimes when I was trying to do a spin jump, it wouldn't let me do a spin jump. And other times when I was doing a normal jump, it would just turn into a spin jump. Something like that also happened once I got the double jump and then later on the screw attack, where I couldn't really bounce off walls or anything. Like, it would just go into a double jump or a screw attack. Those things weren't really a big deal. Like, they didn't hamper me too much, but they did get me killed a few times and added to the frustration of what most of the game was like. The gunplay was pretty much perfect though. I don't think there's any way you could change the gunplay at all. Fighting in this game is probably the most fun I've had in any combat on the Switch at all, to be honest. The bosses were pretty great too, not gonna lie. I think I had fun in almost every single one. Obviously they were frustrating and pissed me off to hell, but I still really liked fighting them. There are some bosses that are obviously on the weaker side, like the reskinned Chozo soldiers you fight a few times, and the eye boss that you fight a few times. If the Chozo soldier fight wasn't as fun and frustrating as it was, I think I would be a lot more annoyed that they popped up more than once. And the eye gets a pass because in my opinion it's not a boss. I only include it in here because on the map when you hover over it, it calls it a boss. And I also include the Emmy chase boss thing into the eye boss because it comes right after and you can't do one without the other. So because I see them as a pair, I give them a pass because they're fine for what they are. That's not to say the Emmy chase boss isn't extremely fun, because it is, and it's also annoying, but it's also probably the most intense part of the game aside from trying to hide from the Emmy in the Emmy areas. And all the other bosses are pretty amazing too, but one boss that I loved a lot was the final boss, who I think if there's anything that would be more intense than all the Emmy encounters in the Emmy areas, it would be the final boss itself. Like, I shit you not, that boss was ravaging my asshole pretty much all day yesterday. This video was supposed to come out today, Wednesday. I mean, I know I'm dating the video, but the video was supposed to come out today on Wednesday because I was going to record it yesterday after I beat the boss in the morning. That didn't happen, obviously, because he spent the morning fucking me. But beating that boss was probably the most rewarding I felt in a while. Like, I just passed an exam for school, and when I see family, I'm going to tell them that I beat the final boss of Metroid Dread before I tell them that. The game is just great in a way where every single boss makes you feel like this epic space fighter, and it really puts you into that mood set, and it makes you feel like you're really fighting these gargantuan monsters and shit. I almost never go back and replay games on a harder difficulty once I'm done with them, because I'm a pussy. But I think I actually might do this with this game just to relive those bosses after I've already learned how to fight them. And to just relive most of the game in general. I might give it a week before I do that, but I really do want to go back and replay this game at some point. But then I also want to go back and collect all the items from the save file I currently have, so hard to pick what I really want to do with this game, but I know I do want to continue playing it. Who knows, I might just replay it for the rest of my life or something. Overall though, this was an incredible game and probably one of the best games I've played this year. And I know I didn't really touch on the story almost at all, but that's because since I haven't really played any other Metroids, it felt weird criticizing or praising certain parts of the story since I don't know anything else aside from what I'm given in this story. But from what I could understand, it was interesting. If I had to give this a score, it would be a 10 out of 10, obviously. I know it might seem a little pandering or a little dick sucky to have so many positive reviews back to back, even though it's like only 2 so far, but I don't really tend to interact with stuff that I know I'm not gonna like, and I'm usually pretty good on picking and choosing what I know I'm gonna like, but who knows, when I'm wrong, you'll be the first to know. And to keep true to my choose your own adventure type reviewing that I started last video that I'll probably never do after this video, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10 in terms of easiness. And for all you people who like to not have real opinions and sit on the fence about everything, this will get a 5 out of 10 in... I don't know, I couldn't think of anything else, but it'll get a 5 out of 10 in something. That's about it though. Before recording this video, while I was taking a shit, I did see this tweet, which I think fits the theme because this is a shit-ass tweet. And I'm not going to start the argument about game pricing and what's worth what price or anything at the end of a Metroid review, but I will just say, Metroid Dread was a better game than God of War, in my opinion. But that's also the correct opinion, so there you go.
I'm a bloodborne player.